I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs spoon. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. But I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, I'm scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror, oh oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama hip, so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in. I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror, oh oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alfred.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alfred.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to be here with you guys today. Good to see everyone here. And thank you so much for the welcome back, guys. I wanted to go on tonight, but then I thought, you know, so much has happened. I feel like I've been in a time warp or something like that where you guys were all doing all kinds of stuff and I was like, you know, elsewhere. So I feel like I lost about a year's worth of stuff. Still catching up on everything. So I guess feel free to fill me in the chat if you guys know anything that I'm missing. But I've just been kind of buzzing with all kinds of different things catching up, listening in here and there. And then, if nothing interesting is going on over here, I might check over here. But, some people have sent me some stuff, and I just appreciate you guys bearing with me because, yeah, it was a long week. Gone for me too, and I miss you guys. So, and Sandy is here. So good to see you, Sandy, and Brenda Calvert. So good to see you. And Canine Jules is here. And guys, say prayers for Canine Jules and Gator. Poor little Gator. He got kicked in the face on a search, and he is recuperating or recovering from that. So, I mean, the dogs are just so awesome. And Don Emery is here. Hello, Don Emery. And hey, Choochie. Choochie's also recovering. So I'm so glad to share that with you guys as well. And Cinderella is here. And hello, Witchy Mama. So good to see you. And I hope all of you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. I know I did. I know I had a wonderful Mother's Day. It's been, a long time since we've been able to spend like a whole entire day, especially, like I wake up in the same house as my daughter because, she's also been in school. And so it was just really special for us. And we had a really great time. Got to do pretty much everything we wanted to do. The only thing is that we weren't able to see little Aaliyah because she is going for some more chemo, and she just simply can't be around a whole bunch of people, And honestly, the very next day, Livy was sniffling, and I'm like, "Why are you sniffling? Are you feeling okay?" And because you know how when you're running and running, it all kind of hits you at once. And she's like, "Yeah, I think I'm fine, but I'm glad that we didn't go to the hospital, because we're wanting to go up and visit her." At children. So again, just always say prayers for everyone, guys, whether they're going through a horrible situation or whether they're going through the best situation in life. Pray for them to have a prosperous life and things like that because it's really tough. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. And I just don't understand it when it's a little kid. It's really tough to kind of handle that and swallow that. So and Lisa King is here. So good to see you, Lisa King. And also, let me see. I know I said hi to a lot of people in chat, but I always like to shout you guys out. And Gail is here. Hey, Gail. So good to see you. Little Miss Sharon, too. And let's see. I think I said Sandy. Yeah, Sandy, you were the first in the chat. I didn't tell anybody I was going, really. I mean, just a few people that I was talking to. But hey, Sabrina, good to see you. And Gina. Gina says hello from wonderful Shackle Island. Ugh. It's such a nice area, Gina. That's what really gets me. And I was lucky enough to be able to go through again through Nashville because I just get, a good feeling when I go through there just because I know so many of you good people. And, it's mind-boggling to me. Um, it really is. It kind of it doesn't like fit right with me. And people say it doesn't sit right. Well, it doesn't fit right because it's just odd that I know so many wonderful people from that area and then or that just live there, whether they're, transplant or something, but um and then just to know that there's some feelings of that there's some corruption and that there's a good old boy system and that there's some weird and odd behavior, a lot of it aggressive. And so it's very strange for me. But anytime that I feel like I might be in the wrong, I do find that something arises where it makes me solidify how I feel about it not fitting right with me, right? So, um, you know, again, it makes me happy to see the welcome to Tennessee sign. But then it makes me sad too, because, it would be an area that I would like to live in if not for that. So, but so good to see you, Gina. And also, Groot is here. Good to see you, Groot. And thank you so much. Oh, the trip was great. The trip was great. Thank you, Groot. Thank you. It's a somewhat of a blast of a past situation as well, but you know, um, it was good. Everything turned out really, really good. And I'm still processing. I'm the type of person that processes information maybe slower than others, I guess, or something, because, or I think I'm more over analyzing or analytical. And so sometimes I analyze my experience, and it takes me a little while to process through all of the feelings and emotions that I'm having from it, or thoughts, even if it's not an emotional situation. Um, so, and I'm just looking in chat here. It's so good to see all you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I know a lot of you guys aren't here for night court because it's so late. And hello, Women's Warrior. So I wanted to say hi because I did a kind of a middle episode on Mother's Day. Aw, thanks, Liberty. That's so sweet of you. Thanks, girl. And Ann Reynolds, so good to see you. Hey, Ann Reynolds. I hope you are feeling better. Yes. Oh gosh. Little Miss Sharon, doesn't it feel good? Like once you get closer to home, that also feels really good where I'm like, there are the palm trees and the weird, creepy, droopy trees. I don't know what they're called, but I'm like, oh, this is great. It is really good to be back home, and I like slept in today, and it felt really good to sleep in. Because as tired as I was when I got home, I was like wired for sound, and then I decided to have a cup of coffee, because my daughter makes very if she's listening, I'm sorry, Livy, but very weak coffee. So I'm like an espresso type of person, and I even have a function. I get French roast too, and I even have a function that you can make it strong, or you can do just a shot and do like the latte thing and make like a little latte. But she was so sweet and made me coffee every single morning. So of course I wasn't going to complain. But once I had that cup of coffee, I was like, boom. You know what I mean? Like, here's my, you know, it's like it all hit me, and I'm like, ooh, now I can start working on some shows and stuff. And I have some really great shows planned for you guys too. I also want to shout out Kiki. And if Chuchi, will you please drop Kiki's link? Guys, we need to get Kiki 2025 True Crime. We need to get her past 1,000. Come on, guys, we can get her past 1,000. And I'm going to tell you what, she works so hard. She works so hard because I vowed long ago that I wasn't going to vouch for these people anymore. I was very much like into marketing and sales, and being in real estate, you build each other up, right? You network, and I treated YouTube that way, and I never should have, because that's not how it works here. We don't know these people. We can't vouch for most of them, right? But I know Kiki, and I'm going to tell you right now, she works double time because she's got kids and a husband and a whole thing going. And then she does so much hard work trying to figure these cases out. So please go sub up to Kiki. She's going to have a special guest this week. I'm sorry, a special guest next week. And it's a to be determined, or time frame. But yes, please go sub up, and I'll be in there too. I'm going to get some questions together that I'd like to ask her guest and things like that, which is very gracious of her guest, Chad Ogle, to come up on the panel and get us um, aware of some situations and let us know his opinions from his professional standpoint. And I love that. I'm so grateful for people who will do that for us, because it helps tremendously when we're looking at these cases, because we're regular citizen sleuths, right? We're not professionals, but we also have a working brain, and a lot of us are very analytical creatures, and we like to deep dive into things and understand things fully. And so if without having the professionals come in and kind of help us out with that, we can't really ever understand it fully, especially from their perspective. And so I'm just really grateful. It's going to be great. um Thank you, Witchy Mama. I'm so behind in Discord. Please, 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 please don't think I forgot about you guys in Discord. Like, hey, get a membership and be in Discord, and then But no, I'm gonna be in there too. I want to leave off where or go back to where we left off in this. And I did watch a little bit of Mob Crew too, and he's talking about the I didn't watch the whole thing, but the part that I watched was him talking about CPS reports. I think that we need to, as creators, double down on that, because look, that's very important. that is a huge piece to what we're looking at on an entire scale of maybe why Sebastian went missing, because you cannot tell me that there were 5 CPS reports in a 14-month period and there was nothing wrong at the house. Right. But Chris maintains that nothing was going on and it had nothing to do with being, physically abusive to Sebastian. Some of it, I think, probably on a greater scale, it was a lot of everything. It was, or excuse me, a little bit of everything, which was a lot that created these many reports in this short span of time, right? Because maybe if when they first got together there was a CPS report because Sebastian didn't like something Chris was saying, or Sebastian may have been oppositional about a new man coming into the house living with his mom, I would understand that. But what we're seeing here is a pattern of behavior from the fall of 2022 into when Sebastian went missing in the beginning of 2024. For us to completely negate that or act like that never happened is ludicrous, right? And that is turning a blind eye to a huge part of the motive, in my opinion. And the motive is that they blamed Sebastian for everything and Chris did not want Sebastian around his daughter. Chris did not like Sebastian. And I hate to say that and speak for him, but his actions and his own words speak louder than I ever could. So when we're talking about listening to him saying Sebastian likes to wet the bed or have accidents at school, nobody likes that. That is so embarrassing, right? And a light example of that would be like in the movie Billy Madison, right? Like where he goes to the school and they go on a field trip, right? But he's part of the class and the little boy has an accident during the field trip, right? Like anybody could know that that would be the worst nightmare for anybody. For one, it's embarrassing. For two, you didn't mean to do it. That's why they call it an accident. And it's just it's something that is not it's not fun. It's not a fun experience to have. And so Billy Madison goes over there to the water hose and puts, water on his pants to simulate he peed his pants. And then he's like, you ain't cool unless you pee your pants, and it was hilarious. And it made the little boy feel better. And by the end of the day, all the kids had peed their pants, which is kind of disgusting, but it's also funny because it shows that you can take a situation like that and not make somebody feel as bad about it. When you make people feel horrible about something that they can't control, it is really a psychological mind f, right? It really is. It's not going to help the situation. It's going to make it worse. Chris is very good at taking a regular situation and making it worse, or getting a dig in, or, you know, talking shit about it, right? And there's no reason to do that, especially when it's a child and you're their caregiver or one of their, we expect you're the expected caregiver, right? If you're a stepdad or a step-parent, I guess, I don't know, there's a lot of them out there that don't treat the children right, but you would expect that they would. And there's a lot of them that do treat the children wonderfully. And hello, Catherine. Good to see you guys. And I'm sorry, I kind of get on a tangent in the beginning and stuff like that. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit behind in chat. Hey, Kiki. Good to see you, hon. So good to see you. How you doing? Good to see you. How you doing? Thank you. Thank you, Gina. I told my friends about our prayer list and things that you have done and made for Aaliyah. So, and they were just like so grateful for it. Um, my heart just hurts for them. Hello, Mama. So good to see you, Mama. So I mean, hey, Narita, it's a horrible situation. I just hate it for them. Because they're my very best friends in Missouri. Um, Mama, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Hey, if you got a membership, make sure you say thank you to Mama. And also welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Oh, that's so sweet. Aw. Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Anne. It is. It is, Brenda. It really is. But it was so funny because, like I said, I just realized, and it just occurred to me that my daughter is completely grown up, young woman. And I'm just like, I was really amazed. Like I said, she made me coffee and breakfast every morning I was there, which was so sweet of her. We ate leftovers from the restaurant actually because I woke up a little bit later because her dad did stop by. So before we went to the zoo, um, so I decided we decided to just eat our leftovers from the restaurant that day because by the time we were getting around and gone, it was lunchtime. So, um, but it's just so different because I'm so used to catering to her, and then she was like catering to me because I was her guest in her home. You know what I mean? So it was so different. Because when she lived in her apartment in Springfield, it's not like, I was going over there to spend the night. Usually I didn't stay all night over there, except for when I would take care of her dog, when I dog sit for her. But it was just a completely different experience. And I was just so grateful to see that she had such lovely roommates, young ladies that she shares her place with, and or that they share with her. And it just, um, sometimes you don't always have the best friends in life. And now that she's older, she has like these really great friends that I can tell are completely different than the ones she had. Um, she chose great friends, and her boyfriend is just a sweetheart. Like I was very nervous because I was like, oh gosh, if I don't like him, I don't want to have to say something, but I didn't have to do anything like that. As a matter of fact, he is just, a doll. And one funny thing that happened was the reservations for the restaurant. It was really funny because um, he had made the reservation for us, which was so sweet of him. And then he made it for 8:30, and because the graduation was at 5:30, so it would have been plenty of time, but it was a little longer. They had quite a few students that were graduating, and so it would have been the perfect time. But Livy was like, well, I don't know, I think 7:30 would be better. That way we don't have any like in between time. We can just go straight to the restaurant, from the graduation. And so he changed it to 7:30, but then I looked at the program and it was 6:30, and I, whispered down to him, I'm like, "Hey, I think we should have kept your original reservation because it's like 6:30 right now and it looks like the commencement's going to be longer." And so I felt so bad like when I looked at the time, I'm like, "Oh no." So it was really funny, and I was like, when he changed it over, and so he was able to get it, changed back. But it was too funny because after he did that, I was like, okay, great. But I really think you probably should have made it for 8 o'clock instead of 8:30. And he just looked at me and we were laughing. But he was such a good, sport about that. And making sure that we all had our reservation on time, and was coordinating that, coordinating that, um, which was just such a sweet, sweet, sweet thing for him to have done. And it just makes me know that she's in good hands with her people. So I know, Kiki. Oh my gosh. I know. I know. I mean, I was a wreck. Like, I just saved it for when I'd go outside to smoke. And then I'd be out there bawling, Um, because of course I didn't want her to see. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things where it went really, really well, but there was just a lot there, and I didn't want to leave, and I know I can't stay, and I know I can't steal her. Her dog was kind of going crazy and saying, hey, what are you doing? Because we're bringing stuff down, and she's looking at us like, what's gonna happen, And I was like, Mocha, I would steal both of you guys if I was gonna steal anyone, and so, but she didn't know what was going on. She's such a sweetheart. I haven't seen her either in a while. So it was just so nice. It was so nice. And how you doing? Thank you for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. And if you got a membership, please say thank you. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe, guys. I do need to redo the Discord link. I know that. So I apologize. I don't know why it does that. I guess, I mean, I know it's linked up, so yeah, thank you, Brenda. She says I'm pretty good judge of character, and Kiki is good peeps like Lady Freedom, in my opinion. Thank you, Brenda. I always think I am too, but there's sometimes where I'm like very shocked, and I'm like, damn. So, but you do learn as you go, to see red flags and stuff or to know them. Hey, Stephanie, and it like I hate to be cliche, but like evil does take on all forms. So sometimes it'll be someone that you really thought was such a sweet and nice person, and they turn out to be a wretched ass mess and then wreak havoc in your life, kind of like my thumbnail with the dumpster fire. So hello, Kimberly Bromett. Good to see you. Oh, Gina, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Hey guys, thank you, Gina, for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. And also make sure you say thank you to Gina. I'm sure you guys already did. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe because I'm a little behind. Oh, and that reminds me, I wanted to I wanted to go ahead and shout out who gave me a membership. Okay, Daphne's Case Files. So whoever, if you guys are dual listener, or just a big shout out to Daphne's Case Files because I got a membership for her channel. So that's awesome. Another really hardworking YouTuber that puts everything into it. There's a lot of us out there, and it's a good thing because we need more people. So we just really need people to make sure that we have people that are at least trying. That's the biggest thing is like if you're trying to put together a good show with good content that's interesting or funny or informative, it's good. I saw one creator, I'm not going to say who it was, but it was pertaining to all of the drama on the streets. But I saw their post where, or excuse me, it was like either a live or a premiere, maybe a video. And they're like bringing the receipts and they didn't show one single receipt. I'm not here to tell anybody who to watch, but please beware of that because that is so screwed up. Like you literally sit there and watch a 20-minute video where this person in the title and the description talks about how they're showing receipts and they didn't show not one. They just said on this date, September 17th, 2027, or whatever, excuse me, 20, whoa, future 2026, and it's just stupid. It's stupid. And it's very well, I mean, we talk about gaslighting a lot, but that's what that is. That's some low-key gaslighting where you say, "I'm bringing the receipts," and then you show absolutely zero receipts on the situation, right? And people are sitting there and like me, and I'm going, "Where's the receipt? You're just naming off dates." Back in 1992, this happened. Bullshit. I want to see what you're referring to. I don't want to hear an AI voice. I'm talking. So, see, this is why I just tell you guys who I'm talking about most of the time because it just, otherwise I'm totally giving it away. But I don't want anything to do with these people, so it's just but I have to call it out because here's the thing, it's stupid. Again, it's a waste of time and energy for people to be going over there and watching it, but also it's a window into what kind of delusional mind these people are actually working with here. Because they're trying to push something off as if they're showing receipts when they have none and all they're doing is naming off a date. It's wild. So, yes, Narita, Kiki's awesome. That's what I'm saying. And people, here's the thing. People like myself, people like Kiki, we grow our channels organically. Like all of you fine folks that follow me and, listen, are here for Night Court, or the ones that are in the bushes, or people that don't chat at all. Big love to you guys, even because I appreciate the liking and, watching and all of that. It helps the channel tremendously. But we have other creators out there that are not doing the most to find organic people. They're just having other channels recommending them, and then that's how they're getting their viewers. It has nothing to do with whether the people like them or not. They're just doing like as they're told, right? They're bah, subscribe, right? That's all they're doing. They're subscribing because they were told to, not because they actually love the content or the content creator, what they're doing and believe in it. So, you know, that's the one thing that I always told Kiki too. Like, just remember that part and you'll grow, you are going to grow, and just keep at it. But it sucks because I was in the same position, and back when I was new to all of this, it was like 1,000 people you had to have to monetize. So I just really want to get her past that 1,000 because I know how hard it is, and I was like, I need this 1,000. And when you sit at like 999, you're like, and it's just nerve-wracking. So but it's great, and I would rather have quality people over a quantity of people. And also, you guys are amazing about giving views and listening, and that's the thing that really helps the channel grow. You can tell who was made really really quickly by the hate channels, because they don't have the views, they don't have the love, and they don't have the how do I say it, the community built like someone like Kiki who works really hard at it, So I know how it is. But oh, thank you, Group, for subscribing. Awesome. Yeah. And Kiki, you were the one that told us about the Texas Roadhouse and how you have to or when how the Texas Roadhouse Wi-Fi works, and how if you're in that, that's amazing. That's amazing how that works. I didn't realize it, but I should have, because all these places geofence, especially a big place like Texas Roadhouse. It's smart marketing to do something like that. But you were like, hey, this is and brought up a really great point about that. And so many other, there's just so many other things, and it just comes from really like thinking about it deeply and trying to understand what happened. And I'm so very open, because at this point nothing would surprise me. So if somebody comes to me with like actual information and receipts, I'm like, oh wow, okay, well that changes my mind. But I'm not going to just jump on the bandwagon without that. I try to show receipts for almost everything I'm showing you guys, and I expect the same thing, not just, my recollection of events. Um, or if I show you guys something, I like to show you a clip of it. Here's why I say this. Boom, here it is. And then so on and so forth. Um, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Ann. Don't smoke so many cigarettes. It's bad for you. That's the good thing. My daughter doesn't smoke cigarettes and she hates it. And so, she booted my ass outside. Miss Ann, she did that to me, Miss Ann, when I was smoking cigarettes. She said I can't smoke them in her house, and I had better not even have the door open. She hates the smell. She absolutely, absolutely hates the smell. And so, but that's a good thing, because it's not good. It isn't good. And I wish I didn't smoke. So I wish I wouldn't have gone back to smoking either. So, oh, Canine Jules, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Oh my gosh, you guys are rocking it today. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Canine Captain Jules. And make sure you say thank you to Jules too if you got a membership. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe. That's so cool, Jules. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's like right where I got really. So like I said, I was a little wired last night, and people were like, "Hey, Mom was on. So I don't know, go over there and watch them." And the Maryland University thing, I think, was like the thing that I stopped at. Um, so I've looked at Chris's LinkedIn as well in the past. Um, yeah, Chris, I was creeping on your LinkedIn. Um, so I'm thinking it's a red herring, and like you, Brenda, yeah, I'm maybe, because here's the thing. I just don't know what all to believe about all of that stuff. And I could have sworn there was something on there when I looked on there a long time ago. I mean, I looked at that a good year and a half ago because it's interesting what you can find on Facebook, right? Like, even in that movie, and I know it's just a movie that my daughter and I watched, it was like they were searching for her mom, right? This young lady's mother, and because she had went missing, and they were trying to get into people's accounts, right? Like this little girl was. She's trying to get into people's accounts to figure out what happened to her mom. And so she looked on Facebook and got the guy's mom's maiden name because they called in and acted like they were the guy. It was, obviously highly illegal and not you're not supposed to do it, and it would totally screw up an investigation, right? Or evidence in an investigation. Again, it's just a movie. But if you're looking on like Facebook and stuff, you can find a lot of mutual friends lists, family members, all of that information. Um, so with LinkedIn, obviously it's going to show whatever work history or whatever you decide to put in there. The only thing, if it's new information that has popped up on there, and I'd have to look through screenshots because I know I probably still have them. Um, Maybe Chris is trying to throw us off because they know we're looking, or I shouldn't say they know we are looking into them, but obviously when hindsight and them released that they did the Carfax and different things, um, I call it creeping on them. So please don't mistake that for anything, guys. When I do that and I'm looking into people, I call it creeping too. Okay. So just a creeping, right? And whatever, it's public knowledge. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful. What I'm saying is that when you're creeping on people, and then you put it on online that you were doing that, then they know, right? So he might be baiting some of us, right, that are looking into him. Again, when I looked at his mom's Facebook, seeing that Sebastian wasn't on there, interesting. Hey, Holly S, good to see you. Hey, Poppy Love, hello. Aw, no worries, Holly. I'm glad you're here. Crispy Edgar, PPP. Oh, Lord. Where's Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? That's right, Stephanie. That's right. I don't know. I spent a lot of time thinking, of course, on the ride and that, and it's just sad. Um, all around that we just don't know what happened, especially when I go through that area. It makes me think about Sebastian. It makes me wonder. And I did go by the Texas Roadhouse as well. So I have some information to share with you guys on that too. Um, I just don't know how I'm going to put it together, but I stopped over by the Texas Roadhouse. Of course, I'm not going to go by Chris and Katie's again because, whatever. What am I going to see? The work van not there again. I already saw that a couple months ago, right? I saw the neighborhood dark, and that was the goal last time, was that I had been to the neighborhood a couple times on my trip to Pig Fest. And then when I went for the gathering, I wanted to be in the neighborhood when it was dark. And oddly enough, I was able to be there on the anniversary. So 2 years later, there I am, in the neighborhood dark, seeing how dark it is. Of course, things are going to be different. That includes, big construction area that was a second phase they were putting in when Sebastian went missing. Now there's these great big beautiful houses over there, which there were some great big beautiful houses over there, but now there are more. So the area is different. Also, I'm guessing, and this is just a wild guess, allegedly, in my opinion, but if it was me and I lived in that neighborhood and I didn't have adequate lighting around my home, you best believe there would be some adequate lighting around my home after that happened, So, oh gosh, Mama, I really did. I really did. And we were laughing so much because I was like, Little Lady Freedom, that's so cute. You guys were calling her Little Lady Freedom, and oh my gosh, we just got a huge kick out of that. And it just so sweet. We're like two peas in a pod, that's for sure, her and I. um, equally ornery and, that sort of thing. But um, it's funny because I was thinking she's more like Lady Freedom 2.0 over there with her master's degree and all that. So she got a much different start than I did. But I'm so proud, and also, like I was very much into psychology in high school, preparing myself for college. And so I had taken, advanced placement psychology, and for her to have gotten her degree in that, or, her master's, it really like gets me on a greater level, but of course I was teasing her about it because I'm like, you stole my dreams, and like we were laughing, about it. But it's just so funny how things go full circle like that. And, I'm so very proud um of her and her accomplishments and just, the person she is. So it's like if I could have done things over again, I would have done it like she did. So, and she's the kid. So it's, I don't know, it's just amazing, and I'm so happy for her. Um and Stephanie Williams says it melts your mama heart but breaks it too. Yes, you got it. You got it, Stephanie. That's it too. Yeah, that's true, Brenda. And I think it's because kids model our behavior so much, But it was always my biggest fear that she would follow like in the wrong footsteps as I did. So that's why I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just so relieved that she was able to kind of make herself, because that way she's locked in for her future and, for her kids. And so I'm just very happy for her and proud of all her hard work. Because one of her little friends, her roommate that went with us and was sitting next to me at the graduation, just said, I just don't know how she did it. She was just so, um, thank you, Kiki. She was just working so hard the whole time, So, thank you, Mama. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. The all messages. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. Oh, little Miss Sharon, thank you for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. That's so cool. Aw, make sure you say thank you to little Miss Sharon and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. My goodness, guys. Oh, Kiki says we also need to collab on Gary Sutton's. Yes, Kiki, thank you so much for reminding me about that, and I appreciate you for that. So, Gary Sutton's, guys, I do want to do a collab with you, Kiki, and I think that'd be cool if we could do a multi-stream, um, one day too. So that way, like you can have your chatters and then the chatters in here, and we can just like, it'll be good. Um, but yeah, because that's always fun, and it's really helpful to, um, do fun collabs on that. I don't want to speak too soon about it, because I don't have as good a knowledge, but and I'm so looking forward to your live next week too. So, and thank you very much for your super chat, Kiki. I really appreciate it. What the heck did I just send? Clap and seal. Oh, I didn't even see it. That's funny, Jules. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Kiki, or they say they know someone but never show the receipts. I know, and that's the thing. I just can't believe it when they do that, especially if you're gonna put that in the title, that's what people are expecting you to do. So, there's one creator whom always brags he is bringing receipts, and that's all I've ever heard. A few times I've crossed the channel, yuck, liar. I know it. Well, it's just a very delusional, right? You're like, how do they actually? Because either they're trying to get one over on the audience, or they actually believe their own lies, and each one is equally as disgusting as the other, in my opinion. Because I certainly don't want to be lied to like that. But if you have receipts, show them, and you can always we all know how to blur stuff out of a screenshot. So, thank you, Holly, for your super chat. She says, welcome back. I'm so glad to be back. Oh my goodness. I missed you guys a lot. Oh, thank you, Chuchi. Yes, please, 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 pretty please. sub up to Kiki's channel. Let's get her past 1,000. I'm gonna be going over there to check to see. I'll be bugging you guys if you don't. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really, because I mean, we need to get good creators that are really working hard. And definitely, Deafening Silence is here. Good to see you, Deafening Silence. Same here, Sandy. I know I can come to Lady Freedom for all the truth and no bullshit updates. Thanks, Groot. I try, and if there's something that I get wrong, I'll make sure I tell you guys. But because I think in Sebastian's case, it's the hardest one, and I think all of us have gotten something wrong at some point or another. I know I have for sure. And it's just because we don't really know all of the facts. So I'm so open to it always um because of that, because we just don't know. So that's funny. Oh, just peeling the eggs. That's funny. I remember when Shanann Watts was peeling the eggs. I watched that video a couple of times of her doing that. And she's like, look, they come out perfect. I swear she was like the pioneer for, what all of the influencers, right? She was doing it before anybody else that I was aware of. But yeah, I don't know. I've thought about doing like cooking and stuff like that because I'm getting so sick of it being like, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I don't know what's for dinner, And so I think it'd be fun to do because I've seen Betty doing that too, and I think that's cute. But yeah, you could totally do that, Kiki. You should, or do cleaning, organizing. People love watching that kind of stuff. So, but it's so hard because people are weirdos out there. You just don't want them, to know too much about what your house looks like and stuff. And I don't know. Yeah, they sleep. They sleep. Well, we know some people that sleep too, and also they show up to their. I don't know. This is okay, and I'm not trying to show hate. And please, I hope my chat doesn't jump up 100 people because I'll know what's going on. Because I'm not. Again, I'm not going to name any freaking names today. I don't know why. I just don't feel like getting into it. But when I go into a live stream and I see somebody that has 350 people waiting for them in chat and they're not there, I leave. I don't stay in there, but maybe people are chatting amongst themselves. And I get that because it is a community. But then I go back in there 10 minutes later and they're still not there. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I check again 20 minutes later and they're still not there. And it's like, do they have no respect for other people's time? But then again, people were chatting, so I think that's why people don't really notice it. But I wouldn't dream of making a live stream and then, just not being on time for you guys. I mean, I was a couple minutes late today because of the update, but that my computer was forcing on me. But other than that, um, I would just, I don't know, I would let people know what's going on or something. I I don't really understand that again because if I was late for certain things like that, I would be in big trouble. Like in the real world, that just doesn't ever work. And people get upset because all it really conveys to the other people is that you don't respect their time. So again, I just find that to be interesting that people will put up with that shit because I won't. I'll be like, I just didn't watch that creator that day. I was going to, but then I didn't. I remember the first time, and then of course I'm like squirrel, something else is going on. I don't have the attention span to spend on that. You know what I mean? Like, to wait for somebody like that. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. And Holly says, remember the first time I heard one of your videos and I looked at your channel, I could not believe you only had, I think it was 900 subs. Oh my goodness, Holly, I know. And you were like, I remember you being like one of the first ones too. And I mean, I appreciate that a lot. A lot of people will say that. I think a lot of that photo stuff was a big issue in like the rising numbers. But again, the people that are here and that have stuck around and, understand that, you know, there's going to be times where we're not always going to agree on stuff, and there's going to be times where you guys are going to be like completely like, oh yeah, Lady Freedom, preach it. Or there's going to be times where you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. Like, what is she thinking? And I could be wrong, you could be wrong, whatever. Um but yeah, I appreciate it because I know it's like, um it's not easy, especially if you put in the work. to do it, you know, but I always want to put out good content for you guys. So I appreciate that, Holly. Thank you. Um, Jules, I don't know that anybody would want to see. I mean, I think it's so weird. Like, I did stop off on the trip and on the way back because it was longer, and stopped at a rest area, and it was so hard to sleep because, you know, like I didn't have anything over the windows and stuff, and it was just weird to me. Like, I don't know how people could do a sleep stream and sleep. But so hello, Valley Gal, good to see you. And Gina, thank you. Oh my gosh, Gina, thank you so much for gifting 5 Lady Freedoms Raw Narratives memberships. Wow. Oh, thank you. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe, guys. Make sure you say thank you to Gina. Wow, thank you so much. That's so amazing. And Gina, that is awesome, says Mama. Thank you guys. Welcome in, new dragons. Wow, we got a lot of new dragons today. That is awesome. It's wild and cray cray if you near you have ever visited them, then coupons to get you um to come in. Well, yeah, whenever you get gifted a membership, Kiki, I agree. I agree. But I mean, I've watched a couple of them, and then when I was watching Nonsense's channel, I got gifted a membership for that. So I knew where it came from. But I haven't been in Daphne's for a while. She had sent me an email asking me to share a flyer, and so I did, which, you know, was so sweet. And but yeah, then I got a notification when I was gone, and of course it just said you were gifted a YouTube membership, and I was like, oh, I'm like cringing to open it, but I was glad to see who it was from. Um, I've heard from several reliable sources, yet I have not checked into this, you know, deep dived or, you know, otherwise into the subject myself or even listened in yet. But speaking of nonsense, and of course my thumbnail, going back to the thumbnail, um, apparently Clue and Cletus have fallen out with nonsense because from the best of my understanding, it was because Clue and Cletus were doing some sort of dirt um, with the DA and Brittany J and Julie's case, and of course, nonsense doesn't appreciate Julie, which not a lot of us do. I have good reason not to with Julie, right? And I've only done like a live stream and a silly, you know, short on Julie, and that's because you know, I mean, my experience with Julie was a little bit different. I had a mod at the time that was helping me manage my channel and would also help Julie when she got onto YouTube. And so Julie had modded me in her chats, and when everything went down with Minnie, Reels and Gracie and the picture, right? And Stephanie, aka Grimy Chronicles, um, and that whole ordeal, I just didn't know what was going on with Julie because she was talking with Terry Lynn at that time, and that was like when I just told Terry Lynn to go F herself, basically. That was another, on my part, a bad judge of character, you know, in Sebastian's case. And you know, I'm not proud of that at all. I should have saw right through that, all of that, every single bit of it. But I didn't. And so that was totally my bad. I just thought, you know, Terry Lynn's like this zany little character lady from Tennessee, and she's kind of quirky, but she's also really, you know, trying to find Sebastian and spread awareness, which she did some of. But it was more for personal gain than anything, in my opinion. Um, and again, when I had the falling out with them, um, I just didn't want anything to do with any of them, you know, because it was a situation where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Anything you say can and will be used against you and their opinion. And also just, you know, a whole lot of jealousy, a whole lot of weird, deranged behavior. And I can't have that in my life ever. I won't. As soon as I can identify it, I'm out, you know. I'm gonna dip out of that situation. So Deanna, so good to see you. Hey, Deanna. It's so hard to quit smoking, Miss Ann. It's so hard to quit smoking, and once you do, um, please don't ever go back. Oh, it's just so hard to quit. I might be behind a little bit, but on subject, Chris LinkedIn, I wasn't. Hey, that's okay. Excuse me. I'm totally behind myself. I am totally behind myself, Sheena. Good to see you. I might be a little bit behind, but on the subject of Chris's LinkedIn, wasn't the same thing Katie said she was studying for the Nancy Grace interview, except she said, yeah, DeVry. Absolutely. But, and she also said bitness. She also said bitness administration. Yeah, was her area of study. So good, great point, because I did think of that too. So thank you for reminding me about that too, because that's the first thing I thought of was that, you know, business and business. And why would Chris all of a sudden at this point in his life go get a business degree isn't or a business degree for that matter? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all because he's like a crane operator. I mean, I guess you could say that that job is taxing on your body. And so if he has some credentials or some interest, then maybe he's taking a career change. Um, I, for one, wouldn't want to work with him ever. I think that was the whole people like him were the reason they wrote that book, you know, how to deal with difficult people, you know, or dealing with difficult people, whatever. Um, yeah, the Carfax thing is just like in my opinion, um in my opinion, the Carfax thing is like basically information that you could get anywhere because if you're going to buy the car or look into the car, um, but that public information, there was something on there where it was saying January of the same year, so there was a typo of some sort, and it's hard to decipher. And that's what happens on those sites. That's why, like, I haven't paid for Intellis or been verified in a really long time because to me, I would rather creep on somebody's Facebook than do something like that because at least that's like information that they've loaded in or that's, you know, populated because of their behaviors. So, oh, you can't see Liberty? Oh, I might be behind. Oh, sorry. I missed, or I read that one. Yeah, I call it research, Chuchi. That's funny. I know, right? Well, we have to know, we have to be aware. You know, it's not that you have to go out and do anything, you know, horrible with that information, but it's nice to have it if you're curious or if they're like some of these people that just want to like go after people and go real life. You know, you need to know who they are. And Mama, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you, Mama, for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. Oh, I'm just so not used to this. You guys are spoiling me. Aw, thank you, Mama. And make sure you say thank you to Mama too. And welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Oh, that is so awesome. You guys have all these new dragons here. Oh, welcome, Shayna. That's great. Aw. Their house is really nice too, Gina. I did look at it. Again, I was peeping. I call it creeping and a peeping. No, I'm just kidding. But I was peeping in on the house, and it's really, really nice. It's a very nicely set up house. And again, in such a nice area. It's really a shame. Gina says no one wants to buy that house next door. Poor people. 90 days listed at 64.9. 644.9, excuse me. Wow. Like 3,500 square foot. Boo hoo. Oh my gosh. I know. Isn't that wild? And, it sucks because that neighborhood is really, I don't know, I'm surprised so many people know. I mean, and it's a good thing that they know, so, but I don't know. Was there any indication of how, because I thought the thumbnail said something um, about like Chris and Katie moving to a different state. But then I figured maybe that he was just reviewing Hindsight's live. But I get, because again, I didn't watch the whole thing. So good afternoon, blessed in Florida. So good to see you. Hashtag Huckleberry. Oh, it's so good to see you. Lady was a realtor, and there's only site for that only realtors can go to see if a house was sold privately, and that house has not been sold. Yeah, I know what you mean, Liberty. I know what you mean. Um, and also because I went ahead and gave up my license in Missouri, so I don't have a nerd number anymore or anything like that, like to access the MLS. And that's the multi-listing service they call it. Um, but yeah, there's also like, especially if you're looking into a specific property, but the best place that I found that you can go for information to would be the county assessor's office. Usually, like especially when I first started in real estate, that's where we would go for information. And that's the first place they taught me to go would be the county assessor, because then you can get all the info, the 411 on the house. And that's how you kind of get to know um, the process and how about the house. But you also want to look for a plat, what is called a plat map, because you can also see property lines on that plat map. So oh, hey, oh Mama South, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you're here. KK loves giving her muffins. Oh no. Oh geez. Hey, Linda Nunley, good to see you. Aw, love you too, Kiki. Yes, that's it. All right, guys, 26 more. Come on now. Come on, replay crew. Let's get it. Let's get it on the replay. If not today, let's get it. But you always have no you I'll always never say 100%. You always make it. Yeah, we have to. Sandy, we have to. And, when I was first kind of studying about becoming like a YouTuber, because I did that for a while where I would just watch different channels, the way they did things, how they said things. I started to realize, very quickly when, not even recognizing it, but I'm like, why does people say unaliving? Why does people say allegedly, in my opinion? But it's because, we're up here, and whether we like it or not, we are kind of influencing people's thoughts a little bit with some of the things we present and things like that. And it's just really good practice, in my opinion. Ha ha ha. But it is to say allegedly, because we don't know for sure. Now, if I show you a receipt of something, I can say for sure. Like if I was to say, look at this text message and what this person said, then that's like, pretty solid. Um, but again, we also have to consider the source. Sometimes people do lie. Everybody's done it, right? We've all done it, but I think that it's just important. It's important to do that, and that's why receipts are important to me. And I do like to follow creators that will show receipts, like Justin. Just clutch them pearls, Justin. I should say, because there's a couple of them out there. Will show receipts. Same thing with Matt Thibodeau. I like him too. He posted something really awesome for Haley, and I'll tell you guys about that too before we get off here. Oh, thank you, Cinderella. There's a creator that is doing great content, and yeah, that's awesome, Cinderella, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I will promote anybody that I see working really hard at it, because that's how I was able to build up my channel, was from great people like Smiley who were sharing me out and things like that. So Mandy from Spirit Seeker Squad, there's just so many that were so awesome about, and then also a lot of the creators that I was pulling content in from, that were doing interviews with the Proudfoots and stuff like that. So I know, Sandy, I don't know. I would get so bored of that. And I don't hate anybody out there. That's the thing. Not even the people that did horrible things to me, I don't hate them. I just don't. Like, I'm not saying I forgive them. Hell no, I don't forgive them. Don't forget them. But I also don't hate them because I'm like, whatever. They don't mean that much to me. I'll never see them or deal with them, so it doesn't bother me. Um, Hello, Lisa Boo. Good to see you. Aw, thank you so much for hitting the like button. You guys are awesome. Hey, Faye. Good to see you. Hey, Faye. But yeah, it's just annoying when they lie their asses off about people. That's the one thing that just gets me, you know. Yeah, JS is a nut. She is. She is. She's the one where I'm like, oh gosh, is she, I just wait for her to start crying and acting crazy. And I will say she's entertaining to watch, you know. So CP probably copied Katie's homework for business administration. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so funny. I can see him looking over at her paper or demanding that she do his homework. Oh my gosh. JS is a sandwich short of a picnic. That's hilarious. Jules. Oh my goodness. That reminds me of our good friend Cindy. When she says that, she just cracks me up. She's so funny. She is just so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, guys, check out the Dragon Tribe store, please. Please check it out. It's very awesome, especially, because it's a very first time merch experience. No, I'm just kidding. But I enjoyed making it for you guys, and I'm gonna be working on some new graphics and stuff too. And Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Like I said, guys, fill me in on things that you guys have heard around these streets because there's so much drama on these YouTube streets. It's kind of hard to be a creator like me, because I wasn't here for 1 week and I feel like I missed, eons of information. And Lisa Boo says, with all of the information Mob Crew has put out, the neighborhood is cursed, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I know. And it's got to be hard living there because I think there's kind of a very ominous feeling in that neighborhood, right? Because look, this young boy went missing. It's this teeny tiny little neighborhood, and there's a yard sign in front of the Proudfoot's house that their child is missing, right? And for somebody who doesn't know, maybe they don't know that that's their child. But if they're in the neighborhood and someone's showing, right, which is what real estate agents do, they show the home, they might ask the realtor that question. And the realtor has to disclose, right, full disclosure. And so the realtor would have to say, in my opinion, the way I might do it to try to stay professional would be that a young man went missing from this neighborhood, right? But that's going to end up having some follow-up questions, right? But you have to be transparent and you have to just tell it like it is. That way, again, you have a duty to that client and you have to make sure that you are being truthful with them and building trust and rapport with them. Otherwise, they're going to go find another real estate agent, right? And also, if they ask you and you don't tell them that, you can get in trouble with them for not disclosing, right? So, um, that's a tough sell because many times people won't look into the neighborhood, but many times they do because they're looking at school districts and they're looking for how it's going to fit in. Obviously they're making a huge purchase of those homes are about $700,000 homes, I'll say, on the median price. With the new phase, it's going to bring up their property value, right? That's how real estate works. So because they're building those big beautiful homes right next door to some older beautiful homes, those older beautiful homes are going to go up in value. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me one bit. I know, Faye. I agree. I think the closest it became to a crime scene, Faye saying it's crazy. Sebastian's house never has been a crime scene, in my opinion, is when they went over and they were doing the Pharaoh camera and taking photos and documentation through that. Um, yeah, yeah, I know, Sandy. It's probably better that way, you know. Yeah, pew pew, not Pepe Le Pew. Oh my goodness. And I hate saying pew pew. That's the worst one. I'm like, oh, that sounds so silly. For such a serious subject matter. The neighbor's house went under contract March 14th for 1 week and then back on the market. The house is listed by an agent in Soursock's office. Oh, wow. See, and that's another thing when they figure it out. Yeah, because the minute we're going to start seeing justice or something happens, that neighborhood is going to turn into another feeding frenzy like it was in the beginning. Protocol was never followed. I agree, Faye. Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, yeah. I would never be able to live in a place with an HOA, Miss Anne. Yeah, I just couldn't. You know. There you go, Kiki. Just relax. Just relax a little bit. I had to make tea today because I ran out of coffee because I drank my last K cup last night. So I need to get some more K cups. So, but yeah, so again, I was watching or I was listening about the whole dramatization between that and then also a little bit of what the grimy, or excuse me, not grimy, uh Reels was doing. AI Reels. I know. Yeah. I know. That's a weird place to go and list with. I agree with Valley Gal. Great question. And why would why would they list with them? That's crazy in my opinion. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah. And I don't know. I personally wouldn't want to live in the neighborhood. I personally wouldn't want to. Especially not with, Mr. Proudfoot at large. Katie, to me, in my opinion, is way less threatening. She seems like she doesn't like to stir the pot. He, on the other hand, if I can't walk around my own neighborhood without being accosted, like Bobby the OG, by the way, neighbor was, and how she was treated, yeah, I wouldn't want to live in that neighborhood with that guy. I just wouldn't. He's a complete moron for one, but he's also very crazy. Um, there's just something wrong with someone that acts like that. If they're willing to act like that publicly, think about how they act behind closed doors. It's out of this world. I will say everyone seems to be also trying to figure out who Kramit is. And the only thing that I know about Kramit is that they were in Jayas for Justice's community. He's totally unhinged, Patty Lee. Good to see you. Yeah, totally. She was in J is for, or he, I don't know who it is. It's a weird frog character that looks like a man, but apparently a woman's running that channel, I suppose. Allegedly, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But that person was in J is for Justice's chats. That's who I remember that person from because there were only a few creators that I would actually watch that was going live because I didn't know when I started my channel whether I wanted to go live or not. I thought maybe I would just make videos, and especially because that part was going very well for me. It wasn't until I went live that all of this weird stuff started happening. And, even when I would go live on and cam up and stuff like that. Which I'm going to start doing that sometimes again, but it's also a very weird feeling when you're dealing with a lot of unhinged, as our friend just mentioned, people who, want to take other people's content and, defame them or make them look like an old person or do something creepy with it. Um, it's, I don't know that it's worth it. Um, I don't know if I had to do it over again, if I would have just, but I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be advocating and things and ending up on the news, which I didn't know I was going to end up on the news, um, then people are going to see me anyway. And I'm always used to putting, myself out there, especially, in sales and business, because you are maybe selling a product or a home or a vacation. I've done timeshare, of course. But you are selling yourself really at the end of the day. And so I'm not used to kind of being in the environment where like you're afraid to show who you are, or where you have people that might try to like defame you or make things up. Um I'm not used to that at all. So it's very strange. Um but I will say I want you all to keep in mind, and now that there was this falling out with nonsense, I may just reach out, because I do not want to associate with someone like Clue and Cletus. You guys know that. Um, I called Clue out because I saw what she did on her panel with Chris when he was up there acting like Sling Blade, acting a fool. I'm not afraid of her. I think her bark is worse than her bite, and I think that she has had to humble herself tremendously because of different circumstances that you guys all know about. Um, so in my opinion, I think her credibility is shot. And the fact that again, some of these people do enjoy getting over on their viewers, and they have a duper's delight about it, right? Like they love having 1,000 people in their chat eating out of the palm of their hand, either because they're afraid or they're just sheep, right? Mindlessly going through. And I think that they like getting over on other people, and it brings them a sense of accomplishment or achievement that they were able to dupe their subscribers, even though their subscribers pay for memberships, pay to be in the Discord, maybe pay for a Patreon even, or whatever it is. They pay with their time. Anytime you guys are in here and you guys are listening and giving me your time and your ear, I appreciate it, right? And I don't want to ever sour that relationship by you guys thinking, well, Lady Freedom likes to get over on me, or she likes to bait me in with clickbait and then not really even give me the true story. So I like to be very transparent with you guys because of that, because I know that I would appreciate that. But I think that was a major issue that I had when I watched the Sling Blade stuff, because she was acting like she had no idea that Chris Proudfoot was on the line. She's like, hello, looking around, all huh? No, don't play that with me. I don't appreciate that. I appreciate respectful, blunt people, because that's who I am. I'm brash and I'm respect. No, I'm just kidding. I sound like Chris Proudfoot. But really, there's going to be times where I say stuff and people are going to be like, wow, that was harsh or something, or wow, that was like straight to the point. But I like to be that way, um, because that way at least you know what you're getting, and I respect other people that are like that. And then at the end of her live stream, I don't know if she came clean or if her viewers know that she um dupes them or lies to them, but then she said, you should have heard him doing his Jim Carrey impression. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you were talking to him the other night and setting this up to do a show, right? And I understand that. Some of this stuff is entertainment value, right? So I get it. If I have a guest on the show, I call the guest, I talk with them, I get to know what we're going to be talking about. If I'm bringing on someone, like I'm going to have a special guest on about her book that she wrote. And I want to know about her book. I'm going to look at her book. I'm going to ask her about it. I'm going to have a feel for what we're going to talk about so she can know what we're going to talk about, how the flow of the show will go, things like that. So again, it is a bit scripted, right? Or if there's questions that I have for that person, and I do this with families too that come to me and talk with me, there might be some things that they're going to tell me that I'm not going to be sharing publicly, or we might frame it differently in order to convey the message out, but not fully disclose everything, because there's some things people just don't want publicly out there, and I understand that. Or I don't want to put somebody on the spot and ask them an awkward question, right? I want the interview to flow nicely, and I want there to be a conversation and you guys asking questions or making comments. Um, I like to have a good expectation set, So just with that being said, I understand that part of it. But with what Clue did, it wasn't only disrespectful and mocking of Sebastian and his disabilities. In my opinion, it was making a complete mockery and a joke out of a horrible situation. A movie about a man who has special needs but has more balls and what is fortitude, right, than someone who is working with a full set of cards, right? A full deck there, or you know, a full basket of sandwiches for the picnic, right? So it's a different situation altogether. Um, but hey, Juicy Jules, I know I'm back. I'm back full time now. So good to see you. Um, yeah, I love BHB. She's very much, and for a while that grimy lady was saying that I'm Betty 2.0. And I was like, okay, I'll take that, because yeah, when you see someone like Betty in action in her advocacy, I don't know why you wouldn't want to emulate somebody like that who has a strong, strong convictions, and she's willing to stand up for what she believes in. Why wouldn't you want to be brave like that? You know, so. Ooh, Lisa's getting steaks. Oh, that's a good husband there. Go hubby, go hubby. That's great. But yeah, so I just want everybody to keep in mind that at the time that this whole picture thing came out, um, these people were modding for me, right? And Terry Lynn, both. So Terry Lynn and I were the creators, right? I was a mod for Terry Lynn, and these other people were also mods for Terry Lynn, but they were also mods for me, right? Because of Terry Lynn. Because at the time that I decided to start going live was the time that Terry Lynn was switching over. Okay, and I didn't know this, but it became very clear on that very long, drawn out, really, really long and drawn out. I'm talking about relentless for days with these psychotic bitches, in my opinion, because no one in their normal right minds does anything like what they were doing. I hope you guys are staying with me. So, what they decided to do was, I mean, and I'll give Gracie grace and say that she had a YouTube channel, but because she couldn't hack it with her boring ass content, in my opinion, sorry, not sorry, as a true crime creator, she ran to Queen Bee to get viewers from Queen Bee and beg for viewers, and none of them even wanted to deal with her, and neither did Queen Bee. She made a total fool of herself up there, crying, "Oh my god." Whiny voice, annoying. sad, right? A pathetic, and you can't do that. You can't do that here. That's like going into, you know, a very tough neighborhood and crying. You'll get eaten alive. You'll be lucky if you make it out. But instead of being brave and standing on it, but she was lying. That's the thing too. She's lying. But instead of being brave or anything like that, she goes on Queen Bee, oh, feel bad for me. I didn't make it on Nancy Grace. Nobody cared that I sent Lady that photo. Yeah, because you didn't do anything. You didn't take that photo and make a video of it on your own. But why didn't you? Isn't that your job as a creator? That you see something interesting and you want to know the opinion of your audience, or were you just waiting for me to make a video so you could post it on your channel? You know? And it's again very pathetic and sad. And so, and I did feel sorry for Gracie because I felt like there was something very mentally wrong with her, that she was stuck in a child's mentality, and this trauma, right, that she has, this insecurity that she has. And so when I recognized that, I was trying not to make it worse, right? But then they came after me, and I had no choice but to understand more about who they really were, because up until then, I thought these people were my friends. I had made them into mods. I was helping Gracie with her channel, but for me to call her a creator, I can't, I'll be kind and say, yes, sure, she might have been a creator at that time. But because she couldn't hack it, that's why she was trying to become a Krama person. So, in my opinion, I think that oh, hold on one second, guys. Let me go ahead and pause because Django's gonna go crazy. Okay, guys, sorry. He likes to he gets excited. So yeah. Well, and that's the thing, Brenda. They all wanted a lot of attention. They wanted to be a part of the photo in the beginning, and they were all fighting for quote credit for the photo until the hate channels, right, were upset about it, until SF Investigates was upset about it, until Chris and Katie were upset about it. Um, Makes me wonder why they were upset about it if it's not true, because if something's not true, then why would you be upset about it? Why wouldn't you just shrug it off? Let it roll off, right? But they didn't. They were all upset about it. And so once they realized that, it was, I mean, Terry Lynn telling me the FBI is going to come to your house and all of this stuff, and I'm like, okay, let them come over. I'll make them some coffee, right? I don't care if they want to talk to me about Sebastian Rogers. That's great, but I don't see why they would want to, especially since I took a screenshot from Justin's live, right, that they sent me, and I put filters on it and made a video and showed the entire process. I mean, let's think about that for a minute. If they're going to go talk to anybody, it's probably going to be Justin. Either way. But I agree. But they wanted full credit and they were fighting over it. And then Minnie was telling me, I never wanted you to share that with Star Lambert, right? Which is Magic Star. Which, in my opinion, guys, for the record, I do not think that Kramit is Star Lambert. And if Kramit is Star Lambert, then may I be struck down with lightning or by lightning, excuse me. Aw, bless us. Hey, Django. Aw, I know. He just gets excited. He gets super excited. Um, but yeah. Um, I think I think in my opinion that there's something to the photo. And I get that it upset certain people to see it. I understand that fully. I'm not going to dispute that at all. But it was very strange how all of that transpired. Now, again, keep in mind that these people all created a channel at the same time. Kramit already had a channel. Kramit was in J is for Justice. I swear on everything that I knew of Kramit. It's not somebody that I talk to regularly. It's not somebody that I was conversating with in the chat, but they were in the chat. This was before they were making these videos with the frog, though, like well before that. So after the photo came Krama Reels and Krama Chronicles. Krama Reels and Krama Chronicles. New to the YouTube streets, brand new, comes out 3,000 people right off the bat. Right? Go back and look at their channel. You can tell when they made it. I'm not here to present receipts about that because I don't really care. Look, I know who these people are. They originated from Terry Lynn's channel and also from my channel because they wanted me, and I'm telling you, Gracie from Grace's Gavel, right? Tiffany, Stephanie, right? Crimey Grime, Krama Chronicles, and Minnie, Krama Reels, they all wanted me to go in with them on Canva, which is a program or an app that you can use to create videos and content. But that's what they wanted me to do. And I didn't want to go in with them on anything because I'm my own channel and I always want to just be my own channel. Now, do I have guests up? Of course I do. Would I do an open mic with you guys? Of course I would. I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys want to come up on panel and say something, please ask for the link. I don't mind giving it. I'm a little leery of it because I don't want to do a call-in show because I don't want people calling in drunk. I know sometimes people get, the liquid courage in them, and I get it. I've been there, right? And then you're like, oh, I want to talk. I think I got enough, to get up there, right? I want to get a little bit of, liquid courage. But I just don't want people calling in, listen here, Lady Freedom, and telling me, things over and over again, and I don't know what I'm getting, and I don't, and then it turns the live into crap content, and I just don't want that. So, with that being said, I'm a little bit leery. But I did have Gracie up on my panel. Those lives are all still there. I had that weirdo Rich and Ruby on my channel. Those lives are still there. Right? I was like a weirdo magnet when I first started this, right? Because I didn't understand who I was dealing with. These were people coming from Terry Lynn, right? And I know a lot of you guys that are still following me, and I appreciate it too, are from Terry Lynn's group because we got kind of displaced because she decided that, she was off. And at that time, she had not been live. So a lot of people that were watching Terry were coming over to watch me because we knew each other from the chat or we were all mods. There was nothing more to it than that, really. But then Terry Lynn decided that she was going to go on a whole bunch of panels and talk about the picture that she had nothing to do with. But Terry Lynn tries to insert herself into certain situations because that way she stays relevant, So, Kiki, oh, it's a hot mess. So, I mean, yeah, too many weirdos, I know. And then you guys would have to work like extra hard because then we'd have trolls coming in and stuff. So, yes, exactly. Don't join the ranks with the devil. Exactly. Hashtag Huckleberry. That's it, blessed. I mean, that's it. We have to be so careful because a lot of the times we're not aware that the people are doing it for the wrong reasons, or even JLR. Look at JLR lately, my goodness, what a mess. And I mean, we kind of knew a little bit about him too, but you figure people change, or I hate to hold something against somebody that they said 20 years ago or 10 years ago. I mean, and the same goes for like what Snuggle Struggle said, but that one's really hard to get over, right? Especially because we see that he hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure he has in some aspects, but it makes you wonder. Um, so yeah, I think so too, Faye. And that's the thing. She was talking behind everyone's back, because the like how I got um the video of Stephen Crabtree in the woods was from Grace. How I got the picture of Brittany J's house was from Grace. She sent me a house and she said, "Would you ever let your daughter stay here?" And I said, "No." Because I didn't know whose house it was. I didn't know what to think. So I was like, just if you're sending me something, ask me a question. I'm just going to tell you. Again, I'm brash and respectful like Chris Proudfoot. Um, just kidding. But, I mean, so I did just say, no, I wouldn't, because it was like probably, and again, I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but on first glance, it looked like it was rural in the woods, and like I didn't know what to think, right? And so I was like, well, no. And then she goes, "That's Brittany J's house," and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and to me, that is not nice. And she was doing things like sending me pictures of her house, or like a dinner she made, and it was like she wanted me to send her pictures back of my stuff. And that's another tactic that they use, you know, um, to get you to send them stuff back, right? Which I was fine. I mean, whenever I moved into this camper, it was like 2 years old only. So everything was brand new. So it's not like, I have a house that I was remodeling like Brittany J was or anything like that. Um, but again, they're baiting you so that they can see where you live. The worst thing that I sent to her, which I never should have, was me at the pool. I sent her a picture of my pool. And it was like nighttime, and there was like the palm trees around, and I just thought, it would be cool to send it to her. Just to let her see where I was, like at the pool. And that was the worst thing I could have done, because she teamed up with White Boy, who stalked me with his wife. And, then they were able to identify that probably pretty easily. And I'm sure that's another reason why they were able to find the resort that I live on. So that was creepy. And again, she built up my trust with her, so I thought she was my friend. So here I am like, oh, I'm at the pool, check out the pool. And I always used to like to send them pictures of the lizards, because we have these little lizards, and they're tiny little guys, and they're so cute, and they run around. And so I would send pictures of the lizards to like Terry Lynn, or I'd send them to Gracie, or the lot lizards, right? um but yeah, that was a mistake. Veronica B says, Lady 100%. Good to see you, Veronica. Hey, I hope you had a happy Mother's Day too. There's something that pic shows, and if you look close enough at the bottom in the back hanging down, you can see something that I don't want to put in here because you can see it. Okay, maybe put it, if you want, in the Discord. Um, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The reason why I was so grateful to Chris from Mob Crew was because the way that he put together the clips from Nick Barris's video and the Facebook video clips that were leaked out. And he showed how the motion sensor light gets tripped off on the house across the street by the car that pulls up. So the car didn't realize that their headlights were going to trip off those motion sensors. And that's where that still shot comes from, Veronica, according to the source, which is Justin. Okay. And again, I love Justin. Justin was amazing. That's another thing that was very upsetting to me because of all of this, is that they were trying to turn me against Justin, Gracie in particular. And so was Forever Nikki's mom, Stephanie, AKA the Grimy Crime, right? she was trying to say, "Oh, look how much money Justin makes. He's a grifter." And I'm like, "He works really hard and he is a very good person. Like he's sweet and everything. Like there's no reason for, you know, you guys to be jealous of how much he makes. Like if the viewers are sending him money, then that's up to them, right?" And so I didn't understand that, but then they were trying to say that Justin went on Nancy Grace and talked about his team working on it. And his team was working on the photo. That's when he was presenting the photo, is when Minnie and Gracie got the screenshot of it and sent it to me. I didn't watch the live that Justin did on that. I only received the pictures that they sent me. And there was a couple of different pictures that they sent me from his live. And they were doing the filters on the pictures, right? Just like I did. But they were like, "Oh, he took full credit for it." But he should though, because it is his. But when it came to the video that Nancy Grace was playing, she says, and I probably need to do that and play that part for you guys. But she says our friend Lady Freedom made this video about it, right? And Justin didn't take credit for the video I made. As a matter of fact, he was very humble and appreciative of my video, even though it came from something big that he was working on with his team. So I appreciated that tremendously, right? And that's how you have to be, especially if we look at it like we're professionals and we're working together in a professional setting, because we are getting paid, most of us, right, for this. Then we need to be mindful of that and understand that if we take a screenshot from somebody else's podcast, right, or show, their hard work needs to be recognized. The person that just took a screenshot of it and sent it over and had everybody else do the hard work shouldn't get credit for it, in my opinion. And that's why I was trying to be mindful not to hurt Grace, but I also understood that she wasn't doing anything to help. And as a matter of fact, the person that helped me the most with that photo to analyze it was, Magic Star Lambert. So I don't know that she was in the chats as Kramit while she's doing that. And she was very upset about that when we spoke. She said, "I can't believe they think I'm Kramit." She's like, why does the Roland Nomad think that I'm Kramit?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think she's just probably trying to piece it together because everybody else is. And then there's all this buzz around it. Almost like a year later, you know? So it was a lot. But I just want you guys to keep in mind that those channels that they came out at the same time. So in my opinion, it's tough for me to believe that they're not all in cahoots, right? Especially because I know who they all are. And I've seen the lies that they've spread around, even to their own family, even to their own people. And I'm disgusted by it, quite frankly. So thanks, Sasha. Yeah, I know that they don't want to go head to head with me because of that. And also they know that I'll take legal action and I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to allow for them to bully me around or make me feel like I'm doing something wrong by telling the truth. They are tore up from the floor up. They are. They are. Gina. Well, and that's the thing, Gina. I mean, oh my gosh. It's like, and that was the saddest part for me. Like, I'm going to tell you guys that really hurt me. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not ashamed of it. Not as ashamed as I am that I fell for Terry Lynn and her bullcrap. But I will say that, um, that was the saddest part for me because I was like, there's so many good people that I know that know her, that are part of her community. And I just didn't know how that was going to play out or look. And I was like, I hope they're not upset with me. And, she had Forever Nikki's mom on her panel. And Forever Nikki's mom, aka Crimey Grime Chronicles, had a picture of a gravestone of her daughter. And Terry Lynn was just fine with all of that. And when I saw that, I was like, there's just something wrong with those people too, because you just, it's just not something that you do. And then there's even more to that as well. That is very demented and deranged. And I just can't, I can't, you know? So, oh gosh, I must have missed that, Lisa. Oh my gosh. I don't know about the house across from Worsham's, Sasha. I don't. I don't. Yeah, he's got to keep up with them, Sandy. It's hard to keep up with all of them. Grimy Crime Chronicles was one that got him. You know, she went up there and said something real hateful to him, and then she was patting herself on the back, and he's like, "Oh, I like your name." He's got to understand what krama is. Everybody out here should know what that is. They really need to understand it. So, oh, the little lot lizards, you'd call them the baby, or the little lizards, you'd call them alligators. That's cute. They do like look like little baby. They're like so tiny. It's so they're adorable. I love them, Jules. I do. So, yes, I love lizards too. Sebastian brought me to true crime, and I didn't know JLR before, and I stopped watching him the day after he left Hendersonville. Yeah, I didn't watch him as much either, Faye. I didn't. I didn't. And you know what's funny is like 5D did like a review on a mashup like she does on the different interviews about Nina and things about that was going on at that time, and I thought it was new info. That's how much I didn't watch him. So I was like, oh, he's diving back in, because I don't know a whole lot of what went on behind the scenes. I know more now, excuse me, than I did, back then. um so yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of people came in for Sebastian's case. Yeah, see, you guys are smart. You guys are smarter than me, because my goodness, I was just like, oh, she really cares. um Oh, I know. Veronica, that's the thing. Like, I just can't with people that don't want to be honest about stuff. And it is bad juju, Sandy. 100% bad juju. I agree. I agree. That's why I don't know why people would ever be like, oh, I have cancer, or. Yeah. Brenda, I mean, Brenda says that's because you two were getting somewhere in this case. Well, and that's one thing that I have to just keep on thinking about, right? Because why would they care if it wasn't a real photo? Like, say somebody did manufacture that photo. Um, if they did, then it would be like, wow, these people are really crazy. Look at the lengths that they'll go to, kind of a thing. But that's not what they were saying. I mean, Clue had an absolute come apart. She had a full on fit when Nancy Grace picked up the image on the in the video I did and had Justin on with Tony and Seth. I mean, she completely, I thought she was gonna self implode. That's how upset it made her. And so just that alone shows me, that there was something more to it. So, yeah, it did. Yeah, Veronica. Oh, I know where it came from. I was the one that popped up and was like, no, that pic came from Justin. Yeah, exactly, Veronica. Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, as much as people were trying to take that away from him, because again, I have to say this again, Grace lied to me, and I showed all the receipts to this. But when I asked her first where the picture came from, she told me she got it off of X. So she did not try to, say that she got it from Justin. I had to ask her again where she really got it from. Then she told me it came from Justin. So Oh, really, Cinderella? See, and that's the thing. They go after subscribers. They do. They try to go real life. So, oh, that is so sweet, Lisa Boo. Justin sends flowers to the E's. Yeah. And gift cards. Yeah. He did the meal train for them. I mean, Justin's a sweetheart. You know, he ended up sending over um he ended up sending over a tree for Renesmee, the little girl who was found in the river because of her adoptive family. Yeah, Renesmee Yutzi. He planted a tree for her. You know, it's sad when people want to discredit good people, yet they do so much nasty stuff. It's amazing to me. It's almost like they're jealous because the other person is doing good. You know, it's weird. Oh, Faye says Lady Freedom Betty did a demonstration from the flashlight video Barris put out, just changing colors, and she got the results you got, showing that it's real. I didn't know that, Faye. Well, see, that they were saying, okay, so now to Bullhorn Betty. So Bullhorn Betty, the next day after I put the video out, she was giving me a shout out playing the video, and Grace had a whole, again, a come apart about it, right? And so I went and to the comments and told them that Grace sent me the picture, but that was only to appease her because I couldn't take it anymore, you know? And also, I was trying not to hurt my friend who I thought was my friend, right? So of course I don't want to add insult to injury. If she's feeling a certain type of way about something, I don't want to hurt her, right? So, but yeah, and then but I didn't know that. But anyway, then Bullhorn Betty pulls in a file, and there were some files also from the Idaho 4. And people were saying that that picture came from the Idaho 4. And when I heard that, it was Magic Star that told me that. And she's like, the photo's not real. And I was like, no, it is real. Um, Send me, I said, could you please send me the photos of what you're talking about? The ones that they're saying turned from the Idaho 4 to the flashlight photo. We'll just call it the flashlight photo. And she was like sending them to me, and I'm looking at them, and then I'm like, there's no way. I said, how do they think that that came from this? Exactly. Like, can please explain to me because I don't understand, right? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, but seriously, if I do an overlay of either photo atop of each other, none of them match up. Chris Proudfoot wasn't, in my opinion, at the Idaho 4 trucks, food trucks when the kids were getting food. So no, but they were making people feel so guilty about it, and they were threatening to blackball people, so people got scared, Faye, you know, and they didn't want anything to do with it. And I was even to the point where I was getting so annoyed, and I was like, do you want credit or not at this point? Because I'm sick and tired of you getting upset about not getting enough credit, and now you don't want nothing to do with it. So which one is it? You know, because I'm going to stand on it. Until I know differently, I'm going to stand on it. Right? And I do to this day. So, yeah, Witchy says, I remember that live. Then it was later that night that Nancy Grace stuff happened where she canceled. Yes. And what made me so upset about the whole thing, Witchy, was that they didn't just take me and Justin's part out. Like, she canceled the whole episode. And that is what upset me with Nancy. You know, and don't get me wrong, I love Nancy Grace. I look up to her. I always have looked up to her. But the problem is that she could have very easily cut that segment out and still talked about Sebastian, yet she chose not to. So that to me doesn't make any sense. And it bothers me to this day. You know? Sasha says, did Fishy get that time frame I need? Because that's a problem. And why didn't Sumner County get it, allegedly? Well, I don't know, Sasha. It just makes me wonder. It just makes me wonder about the whole thing, because it doesn't seem like law enforcement even bothered with the Texas Roadhouse footage, which they should have. They should have had every single camera angle, and they should have it in Sebastian's case file, you know? Oh yeah, Jules, you know. Exactly. Exactly. You know, and the thing is that everybody wants to get to the bottom of it. You know, but I'm here to tell you, I created these monsters. I don't know how long they were thinking about making a YouTube channel, but they definitely did it right after they were my mods. Krama Reels and Grimy Crime Chronicles. So I know for a fact. And look, guys, nobody can produce as many videos as they did in such a short amount of time. So there's that also that I'd like for everybody to keep in mind, because that's something that I keep in mind. They were spitting stuff out. Now, how they met up with Kramit, who Kramit is exactly, I don't know. Kramit had nothing to do with my channel, and I knew them from being over on J is for Justice. That's where I saw them. They also, I believe, were in Pascal's, if I'm not mistaken. But that is what it is. Yeah, Veronica thinks that, yeah, she says, yeah, those damn flashlights are real. And yes, Faye, you're right. BHB was working on the car log, or excuse me, car long ago also. Yeah. I mean, why didn't they give us a description for that vehicle on the Amber Alert, Veronica? You know, that's what really gets me as well. When it comes to Sebastian's case, because all of this other shit doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. You know, of course, it did steal a lot of my credibility, and a lot of people were like blackballing me for this reason. They still do today. If you ask the people, you know, the majority of people that absolutely hate my guts, why they hate me, they're going to mention this photo. And that's fine. That's up to them, who they want to align themselves with. And I think it's important for us all to remember that, you know, being aligned with people is, you know, it's guilty by association. So I get it. And if they very much disagree with that, I understand, that's their prerogative. But that the outward hatred, or maybe even feigned hatred, because I don't see how you could hate somebody for a photo, for one. It just doesn't make any sense. But that's one reason, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Almost South Carolina. So Terry Lynn, if you go on Reddit, you'll find a lot about Terry Lynn and about who she really is. Terry Lynn came from another community where she was pretending like she was blind so people would send her money. And then that community found out that she was searching, actively searching and driving around looking for a missing child. So she went from, you know, that grift to grifting off of Sebastian. And she created a lot of stuff. But yeah, that was, I thought she was started out good and then went to the dark side. But then when I started doing my research, I understood fully who Terry Lynn really is and what her role really was in all of this, you know? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kiki, that's true. Kiki says, I remember that picture. I was in Justin's. I didn't know you then, lady. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is he did like three different ones. And so I took the one that he did the least amount on, and I worked with that photo. So yeah, I mean, he was actively working on it, you know, and then what I did was I just kind of elevated it into a video and put some filters and kind of showed that certain aspects of the photo stayed the same. That's what I brought to it, you know, and showing you guys that process. And I think that's what Nancy was interested in too, I mean, if I'm not mistaken. But she was also interested in what Justin was doing and wanted him to present it. And that's what they were having such an issue with, you know, is that Justin was presenting it and not me, but it was my video. I didn't care about that. I wanted Justin to present it and represent the video. It's only right, right, Kiki? Because it was his video, or it was his screenshot that I made my video off of. So that's only right. And he was an awesome sport about that, because here's Nancy highlighting a video that I did, of his photo. I mean, that's a stand-up guy in my opinion. That's somebody who's a team player who is looking for Sebastian and wants the truth. He didn't care about who got credit for what. He went up there and presented on his own. He's confident enough, right? In his own self and his own abilities and what he brought to the table. And the most amazing thing that got lost in the mix, guys, and this was something that bothered me so badly too at that time, was that we had multiple people in multiple areas of the country working on this photo for Sebastian Rogers. All of us working together, all of us doing our part for Sebastian. And that got so lost and muddied and dumbed down and just twisted up so badly. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. And it all came from them greedy little bitches. And mostly Grace. Because she was the one that was really upset that she wasn't getting her due, even though all she did was send me the picture. Yeah, I know. And I think Carter needs to come out and speak, Sasha. I do. I do. Veronica, that's so cute. Thank you. Hey, I got your guys' back too. I know, and that's the thing too. I got very guarded of everybody after that, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know who these people are, but they're, trying to figure out who I am. And there was that Minus a Penny channel, who I still don't know who ran that channel, but they ended up taking it down. But I will say this, that I watched that little grimy crime, and she went ahead and was playing this lady named Tacey Lynn, and that's who that Minus a Penny was trying to pretend like she was, and playing videos, F you, Trisha, and stuff like that. Yeah. So I have a half a mind to think that that was her and Gracie. Grimy Crime and Gracie. So, yeah. Oh no, Lisa Boo. That's funny. Oh goodness. I don't know if that will ever happen. I will say that I never showed the video of him in the woods like that, because, I didn't feel it necessary. But, you know, in my opinion, Terry Lynn got threatened too, and she lives in the area and got scared for her kids. I understand that too, Faye. I totally understand that. Because that happened to many people. It happened to many people. Um, I think she was also very, speaking of Crabtree though, like, I do think that she was very much a fan of Crabtree and taken by him. Like, and maybe even, she liked him or whatever, in a special way. We'll just say that. Liked him in a special way. Even though she's like, he's like a brother to me, but I think it was more than that. I think she was, definitely smitten with him and wanting to please him, in my opinion. The day that she was trashing me on her live stream, she was dropping his link like it was hot. So I don't know. I don't know if they have it or not, Sasha. I would think they would need it. I know, Lisa. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Lisa says, I really want to believe that Sebastian is alive someplace. However, it just doesn't fit the stink feet agenda, in my opinion. And I have to agree with that. There's some parts of what has been said and done that lead me to believe that there could have been foul play on their part in not just putting him somewhere, right? But then there's been behaviors and things that have happened that lead me to believe that that could be a strong possibility as well. So it's really tough to kind of figure out. Oh, while you lived in Florida, we had them everywhere. My daughter put them in her hair. Ah, Sandy. Lisa, I'm wondering if they're hanging in Maryland, Virginia, and maybe he could be. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. That area does seem to have a strong connection to Sebastian, right? I agree with that. So I know, Lisa, you're doing so well, though. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad it went well too. Oh my goodness. Aw, hun. Kiki says, in my opinion, I feel Terry Lynn was playing a lot of people considering her uh, boyfriend's brother is the mayor, and uh, nothing's been done about Sebastian, in my opinion. Well, and I do remember Heidi Black saying that Terry Lynn told her that she was dating one of the cops, Hendersonville police officers. I do remember that. And why would Heidi say that? I mean, she's one of Terry Lynn's good friends. So I don't think she's lying. I think she might have been pissed off at Terry Lynn when she said it, but I don't think she's lying. Um, Good. Oh, good. Lisa, she says, I'm still recovering, not driving yet, barely able to use my sewing machine. Oh, well, I'm going to be praying that you get to use it as soon as possible, Lisa. Aw. Faye says, Kiki, it's so sad. I really liked her. I did too, Faye. I was planning to come to the USA and help her search for Sebastian. Oh, Faye. But after all that happened, I decided to stay home. Didn't know who to trust, in my opinion. Well, and that was a big slap in the face for a lot of people, Faye. And I mean, again, it does. It sucks. Hey, Magic Star. We were just talking about you. Sorry. I know. It's just all, you know how it is. It's just coming back around. Um, I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like people were waiting for me to leave until they were gonna, do all this. But whatever, it is what it is. I do too, Veronica. I'm here to tell you, I've had nothing but a positive experience with Justin. I mean, I've never had any type of issue. Sasha says, Tupac, all eyes on me. It's the two disc. It's the two disc. Tube Steppen says, Lady Freedom, hi. I always listen here, but have never chatted. Enjoy listening, though. Oh, thank you, Two Steppen. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much for being here. And I appreciate you guys. And the bush as always. So thank you. That means a lot to me. My ears were ringing, Star says. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Remember that, Star? Because we were like, was it Idaho 4? And I was trying to overlay and doing all this. And I'm like, it can't be. Yeah, Betty opened up a file on her computer and they ran with it. Somebody did. I can't even remember who it was, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to say, especially because I don't remember for sure off the top of my head, but um yeah, exactly what she says. Thanks for jumping in, Step in. It wasn't even close to the Idaho 4. Yeah, we tried to look at. I mean, look, because if somebody says something to me, I'll definitely check it out. I'm not just gonna be like, no, I don't, no, 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 or whatever. But um, yeah, yeah, they're wasting their time. Yeah, that's the goal. I know, and to distract. Oh, I was so upset about it. I was so upset about that. I was like, why not just put in the parts where Tony and Seth were talking? Because it was such a small segment of the whole show that was going to be dedicated towards the photo anyway. They talked about other things as well. So, yeah, they do need to they need to do stuff. They need to do some more stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was because they were getting so much hate and so much crap from because I will say Queen Bee took full credit for that. She said they got it taken down. She said we got it taken down. And she was like, basically taking credit for that whole situation, which is fine. I mean, if that's what they did that. But for the longest time, nobody really said that. I think Clue was alluding to it, and they were talking about getting it taken down, like her chat and stuff. But yeah, I never watched any of these people before Sebastian. So, there's that. Oh, you think it's the same car, Kiki? Lady, when you get a chance, compare the silver car behind Seth and Pascal's video to the car on Kellen from Mob. I did a video. In my opinion, I feel it's the same car. That's interesting. Nancy Grace is scary sometimes, isn't she? Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Matt Thibodeau, he's such a sweetheart. He's so good. He's a very good creator. He's another person that he should have way more followers than he does on YouTube. It's just for some reason you just really it's very difficult unless you go to the hate channels and they build your channel, boom, or you pay for people and stuff like that. But yeah, she is. I know, and it sucks. Like I said, Reddit was a tough pill to swallow for me because if I had ever known, I wouldn't have nothing to do with her. Um, yeah, Star, you're right. Everything is out of context and it's ran crazy wild. We can all have our different opinions, but at least don't twist it. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. The truth is the truth. And it's hard. I will. I'll ask her about it, Faye. Thank you. But yeah, you're right, Sir, and that's the thing. And then also people are super confused right now because of everything. So, um she was so silly and stuff like that, but I also was a big part of her community and chatting with other people. So that's the thing. That's why, it was so hard because I wasn't really paying attention as much to what Terry Lynn was saying, but besides, what was going on in the chat and all of the people that I had made friends with, asking them how they're doing, blah, 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 just, conversating. And I should have been really listening and keying in on what she was saying because some of the things in hindsight are very weird and alarming. I'll just say that. So, yeah, she did. In the 90-day community. And people would give her, super whatevers and chats and, all of that kind of stuff. Because they thought, that she needed help. Well, yeah, I know that she slept with a family member. She told us that herself, you know? So, uh, Kiki says, I'm dying now, Sandy. Hey, Nano, good to see you. Hey, Nano. Lisa King says, TL reminds me of a man chaser. She's always had some guy in her chat asking her to have his baby. Gross me out. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, for a while there, she did have a picture of her Tigo Bitties out. So, that's definitely going to attract the men folk. No offense to my male listeners. I'm not saying that you guys are just, aimlessly out there, but, you guys know what I mean. I'm sure you're not offended. Nani McPoppin, so good to see you. Hey. Oh, it's okay. I know. Well, and I had to change mine from because it would ask me, is this for kids? And I would always have to put no. But then whatever Seth told me about that, I changed it over and it hasn't had me do it. So I think that was a big thing with notifications. So, um, yeah, it's all the police's fault. CP and KP should have been in jail since day two. I agree, Faye. I think they had a lot of information by that time, you know? So, I'm so glad you guys are doing better, Star 2. I'm so sorry. I meant to ask you about that as well. Grace's Grace's gavel, Nano. I was trying to think of it now. It's been so long. Yeah, minus a penny. And that's the one where they were putting like a dirty old, and look, guys, I love everybody wherever you come from, wherever you live, you know, that's the thing that people will try to make you feel so horrible about, right? And don't let them, you know, it's not, it's the type of person that you are. It's not where you live or where you came from, right? But they were putting pictures of like this weird old camper and it looked like horrible and trashy, and they were saying that was my camper and that they had military clearance, and the one that I know that is in the military is Grace. Or that was, I think she's retired now from the army. So that's who I thought was using their clearance in order to try to find me, quote unquote. Because you know that's what they did after the photo. They were threatening to come to my house and stuff. Weird, like just weird stuff that I had never, you know. And also Gracie gave me a lot of information about where she lives and stuff like that. And again, it was fishing, in my opinion, to get me to tell them where, you know. And I just would always tell them I live in Fort Myers. I told everybody that, as a matter of fact. It's been all over my channel from the beginning. Never thinking for 1 minute that it would bring me stalkers. So no, I don't like him either, Nano. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Thanks, Veronica. I don't know. It sucks. I mean, I hate it. So, yeah. Oh, I know. Well, she sat right behind them, so that way she could get, you know, as much airtime as, you know, they did. Right. That's Terry Lynn behind them too. So, and that was even recent. We're going to talk about Bullhorn Betty's, you know, paperwork. I'm going to go over it tonight. So, whoa, Nelly. Oh, best friend's brother. Thank you, Kiki. Oh, thank you. You didn't have to send a super chat for that. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome today. Thank you. Well, you're awesome always, but wow. Thank you. Um, yeah. So she knows a lot of people. She knows a lot of people. Thank you, Star. I'm sorry I'm behind in the chat here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she knows a lot of people, which is understandable. And I get that. I mean, when you grow up with everybody, you kind of know, right? I mean, if I would have stayed in the area that I grew up in, I'd have tons of people that I knew, right? Just because. Oh, okay. Oh, there's a Facebook page with all sort of snappy stuff. Hashtag Katie Proudfoot. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Facebook's where it's at, guys. I'm telling you. No, I don't know why they want to be the dark side. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me, but I think a lot of it has to do with, well, I can't even say it because I just don't fully understand it. I really don't. Um, yeah, Lisa, we got to keep the good ones out there. And that's what I thought was cool about Mob talking about the CPS reports, because as I said in the beginning, I just don't see how we can overlook that major clue, right? Well, there's five major clues. One we're missing a piece to, though, with Seth. Seth is missing a huge piece to the last CPS report that was filed right before Sebastian went missing. You know? I'm sorry. Oh, Magic Star. Well, now you can get big old tig bitties, but you know, they're gonna be like, you know, like you were 20. So, oh, hey, Kylie's nail candy. Good to see you. Birds of a feather. That is so true. Very, very, very true. Well, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. I was gonna do a quick live, but I had so much fun talking with you guys. Hey, Laura. But I do want to do the live tonight with Bullhorn Betty's read through of the paperwork. And I know a lot of people have probably done that, and you guys are probably like, oh, joy, we get to, you know, sit through that again. But I think it's important for us to kind of revisit some of it. And I did cover the original cases, so I think we can go back and watch some of the videos. It might be, oh, what's the matter, bud? I think sometimes he sniffs up sand. Hold on a second. It's okay. All right, good job. Okay, so but yeah, so I think we will do that. And that way it won't just be me reading. I'll use like the opportunity to show some clips and stuff like that for you guys. That way it's not just me reading the docs out, and we'll kind of keep it interesting. Since I'm late to the game. That was what was hilarious too. I was sitting in my daughter's graduation and my phone started blowing up, you guys, and I'm like, what has happened? Like at first I thought maybe they found Sebastian, and so I was like, okay, wait a minute, and then I'm looking, oh no, it's because I could hear my phone going off. Or actually no, my my daughter's roommate says, I think your phone's going off, because I had it sitting on the tripod, then I have my other phone to also take pictures and do stuff with. So I was definitely, all hands on technology deck there for it. Um, I know, Laura, I'm so glad you're here. Definitely go through the replay. I think we covered a lot of the stuff that was going on, at least that I could give you guys like firsthand knowledge on. Because again, I do not know who Kramit is, for the record. It's not Magic Star. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much, Star. Um, and and if it is, Star, you got me. But I really don't think so. And I know that's been said, and I just unequivocally don't believe it. Also, um, I just want to say that, yeah, those two channels came about right after. So, and I do know that it does appear that Minnie is using some sort of a voice changer. Definitely uses AI, but is using some sort of a voice changer, because we all know what she sounds like. She was on the voicemails with me. She was on Queen Bee's panel with her, so I mean, we know that. It just is what it is, but um, yeah, we can look at the FBI report for sure, Sasha. But I do want to get back to looking into Seth's interviews and what he was saying in the beginning and how things were going. And again, for the war room, we're still stuck on these CPS reports. We have not gotten off or past that point, because look, there was a lot being said about them, and I'm going to be working on pulling all of that information together, like Mandy did with from Seeker Squad. Excuse me, Spirit Seeker Squad, that Mob Crew showed last night, right? So that all will come together. That all will show you guys what has transpired, right? If I take every clip of what was said about CPS, if it came from Proudfoot, if it came from Seth, if it came from Katie, which Katie barely says anything about it. She tried to answer, but Nancy Grace said, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot. Okay? She did. She stopped her dead in her tracks, said, nope. Right? So that's, but yeah, we need to look over everything. So we're really going back in the beginning and deep diving all this, and getting down to the bottom of what's happened. Look, we need to look for leakage in what Chris Proudfoot was saying. And like I said, Mandy also did a fantastic job of that, of comparing what was said at different times. That needs to be, we need to listen and analyze that, because I wish we had more of his body language while he's saying it. But the statement analysis alone will help us understand and maybe key into some things that could be true and help us. Seth is the best, strongest man that I know. Aw, he deserves to find Sebastian one day or another. That's right, Veronica. I know. I think about Seth every day. I wish I was able to stop over and see them. I really, that was another big bummer. Because that was a part of my original plan, and I really wanted to. Dear God, I am so over that allegation, simply because apparently we have the same government last name, which is so common, might as well be Johnson. Oh, really? Oh, see, I gotta figure this out. Like I said, um, that's interesting. So, no, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. So, Yeah, Smith is very common. So is, Jones. I mean, I think Johnson is too. That's hilarious though. Johnson, remember when they did that on on the Austin Powers movies? Like Johnson, Johnson, Johnson. It's funny. I heard that last CPS report had allegations of the momster trying to strangle Sebastian for real. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Lisa Boo. Well, there were those bruises. There were the bruises. And Chris Proudfoot allegedly wasn't home during certain times. And allegedly, Katie would go see him on the weekends that Sebastian was with his dad. So they weren't around each other, allegedly, in my opinion. So, but we'll get into it, guys. Let's get into it tonight about this because I think I'm late to it and it's something that was really big and you guys were interested in it. So we need to discuss it. Also, I think that Betty really took the rap for a lot of the anger that Chris Proudfoot had about people speculating on his missing stepson's case, which is, and that goes for Katie too, because she's very indignant and she's very, childish when it comes to anybody asking her questions about what happened to her son. Um, it's not okay. It's not normal. Any other case that we see this dynamic, it is that the people are guilty, guilty, guilty. In my opinion, that says a whole lot, you know? Hanson, right? Hanson. This is Bueller. Bueller. Lisa. Oh my gosh, Lisa, I love you. You're too funny. That's what Katie was talking picture when she was taking pictures of the Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, guys, that is so weird. That is so weird to me. And the role, I mean, there's just so much of the Texas Roadhouse. That is another major focus that we need to really get to and re-examine. And I know everybody's done it till the cows come home, but again, I just have to say that when we look at it in hindsight with a fresh set of eyes, it makes all the difference, you know? So it does. Okay, okay, Jules. I thank you so much for being here, and I hope Gator gets well soon. Well, the dirty people all know since they reshared by the undercover witch, right? That did that to Seth. That they, yeah, still acted like, I know, exactly. Duh. They're good people. I know. I know. That was some like secret agents. Speak of, Austin Powers. That's what that girl did. She slept with a person for information. She made him think that they were in a relationship when they weren't, for information to get Sebastian's report. That is sick, you know? We do, Sandy. We do. I'll be working on it. Yeah, because I need to get that out to the war room. Because again, if you guys join the war room, I want to send a special shout out to you guys as well. Because look, that is going to really help the channel grow and build, and also keep the lights on, and that sort of thing. So anytime you guys help me out with any of that stuff, merch, I do get a small percentage from my merch store, but it still helps out, right? And then you guys get something great. Chuchi bought a T-shirt. She said that it's awesome. She said she wore it yesterday when I talked to her. So I'm super excited about that. I need to buy some merch for me to wear it here, I guess. I'll be like JLR and I'll wear my own merch and get a hat. No, I'm just kidding. But the hats are cool. I actually like the trucker hat because it's green. You can get it in green. And then you have like the Lady Freedom, little graphic on the front. So yeah, it'll be great. So all right, guys. Well, I love you guys all so very, very much. Alma, South Carolina, thank you for being here, hon. And I love your avatar. That dog is so sweet. Adorable, adorable. Thank you, Chuchi. So yeah. I will see you guys all later tonight and we'll go over and check it out. Yes, I do, Magic Star. I do. I got uh-oh. Oh, are you okay, buddy? I swear, it's like certain times of the year he starts doing that. You digging in the sand? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. All right, we got it. But yes, I do, Magic Star. You can go there. I need to fix the buttons and I need to fix the zip up hoodies because I don't think that logo is going to set right on there. I don't know. doesn't look great when I look at it, but yeah, definitely check that out. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Witchy. All right, guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys all tonight at Night Court.